Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. What I'm doing here today is going to do a review on my Eezi-Awn Blade Rooftop tent. And before I get into my review, I wanted to bring up a couple of points. And the points are why I'm doing this review, and two, how I came to buying this here rooftop tent. Okay, firstly, the reason why I'm doing this here review is because when I was out shopping for this here rooftop tent last year, there was all kinds of advertising on YouTube and on the internet, but there was no owner reviews. And so for me, I found it difficult to actually find out opinions. And that I think is important when you're buying a product. Okay, secondly, what I did with all the available rooftop tents, I made a list of all the pros and cons and items that I was looking for. And eventually I narrowed it down to the Eezi-Awn Blade. The items that were of the greatest interest to me and actually drew me to this here tent is, one, is the size. Two, was the weight. Three, was the canvas material. And four, the latter was a huge item on my list. And finally, was the cost. Okay, now let's move on to the review. Now, one of the biggest things that I've noticed on the internet, people were complaining about the latches on the rooftop tent. They were injuring their hands, getting cuts and injuring their fingers. And myself, I was having problems too. So I had to learn how to open and close it properly so I would injure myself. And to open and close it, you just use your tips of your fingers. You pull down on the center, open it, lift. Then it was so easy. Now to close it, I put a little bit of pressure on the roof, bring up the latch. Using only my thumb on the side, I just close it. Easy as that. Okay, because of the height of my truck, I got a lift kit and I got 33-inch tires. The truck is a little bit high and my step is pretty low on my frame. So all I'm going to have to do is open the back door so I can get a little bit higher to open the tent. Okay. And easy as that, she's open. Okay, now with it open, we'll move on to the ladder. The ladder, I'll be honest, it is one of the best parts of this whole tent. I know it sounds stupid, but it's not one of those telescopic ladders. And the old telescopic ladders, they're horrible for holding water. This here is so well constructed, the water just runs right off it and it holds our weight absolutely no problem at all. Now the ladder sits into a groove, a molding that's on the top plate here. You just slide the ladder in and you bring it down. Now because of the height of my truck, we got quite a severe angle here, and this here plate, the way it sits in there, I'm not necessarily happy with it, but I associate that more with my truck, not because of the construction. So for safety reasons, especially for my wife, I use a strap. And I simply, well, I'll go here. I simply go around the run here and strap the ladder to my roll cage, just to keep it on there, so I know that it is not going to move when myself or my wife is climbing up into the rooftop tent. Okay, let's go on up in the rooftop tent. One of the things I was really impressed with, and I have to say I was a little bit hesitant at the time when I purchased this tent, and that was that I never touched and seen this here canvas material before, and it was 280 grams canvas ripstop material. Now, not seeing it or feeling it before, I was a little bit hesitant, thinking that, oh, is it the same as my soft top rooftop tent that I had before, which was the polyester cotton ripstop material, which was 280 grams. But once I got this rooftop tent and seen this and feel it, those reservations I had were long gone. This here is very high quality material. Okay, come on up. One of the great things with this here rooftop tent is that we can leave our bedding in it. I think that's awesome. We save so much room down inside the truck. Now, because of the design of the roof being so much narrower down at the bottom, as you can see on the blanket here, it's pressed down a little bit, but in the middle it's high. So it's recommended that you leave your pillows in the center, and we do that, of course, and it works excellent. We have absolutely no problems closing and opening the rooftop tent. You have these here bungees to help assist pulling the material in on the side. I already released them earlier. And you have another one up here. And you have the fly mesh here, which is excellent quality fly mesh. And let's see, let's move on to opening the awning on the back. The awning on the back, we always have it open. It helps with air circulation because it can get pretty stuffy in here with two people in the tent. Now, I do it all from the inside. It's so easy for me to do. First one, and now the second one. There, the awning is open. Now, one of the great things with this awning, it has zippers on the side. Now, in high winds, and it was only last weekend we were out camping, and we had some pretty high winds. We had, I think it was 9-10 meters with gusts up to 20 meters a second winds. Now, the canvas was fluttering quite hard in the wind. So what we did, we took out the spring bars and we closed it up, and we used the zippers on the side, and it was excellent. You just zip it down, it was good. But you still get a little bit of fluttering in the canvas, but that's only at the bottom when it's against your tent. And when you think about it, it was minimal when this here, compared to when this here was open. Another thing I like about this tent, actually it was a big surprise for me, is that it's double wall constructed. And it was nowhere in the information about it. If you look at it, you got the outer skin here, you got the outer skin there, and then you have the inner telt here, or the inner tent here. And it goes all the way down to the front. Plus you have it on the back wall here. The only place where it's single is only at the door opening. The rest of the tent is all double walled. And that really helps with the insulation property. We have absolutely no problem with warmth in this here tent. Actually, with the rear window open, even 10 centimeters, it's still perfectly warm. You have no problem taking your clothes off in here, slide into your sleeping bag or into the blankets here, and have a comfortable sleep even when it's minus temperatures. Okay, a couple of more features that are inside the rooftop tent is it's already wired for interior lighting. Just got to reach up at night, move the switch, and it's got two settings on it, high and low. That there is excellent to have. Another item that it has is individual pockets on both sides. You can call them his and hers pockets. They're actually really good. You got an insulated roof panel. It's got a memory foam 80 millimeter mattress, and underneath the mattress is there an insulation plate, or insulation mat, can we call it, underneath it. We have absolutely no problems with condensation or cold coming up from the bottom. We get very good sleeps in this here rooftop tent, even when it's minus temperatures outside. Very happy actually. But now I think I want to get into the things that I'm not too happy with on the inside or coming up into the rooftop tent, and that is the doorways. The doorways, you open it up and you have to climb over the material. And my fear is that I'm going to rip the material one day, or when it's hanging down on the ladder, I miss a run and fall. I'm really not happy with that whatsoever. And another part that I don't like, especially living here in Sweden and going on vacation a lot up in northern parts of Sweden, we have a lot of mosquitoes. When you're climbing into the rooftop tent, you open it up. You got a big hole, and then you come in. You're inviting them to come in with you. I'd rather have seen the fly mesh hanging and that you slide in underneath it to minimize the number of mosquitoes and knots some come in. That's how it is right now with this here. A couple of weeks ago when we were up in northern Sweden, the first couple of nights we were eaten alive in here with mosquitoes. And we couldn't figure out why. Why? We were making sure we had none on us when we climbed in. We climbed in really, really fast. And one thing I've noticed when I was in here inspecting during the day, the seam up here, where this Velcro up here and this here little flap, that was not tucked in properly. And so I put a lot of effort into tucking that in and sealing it up in this here corners, both corners. And that there seemed to help. Another possible entry for the mosquitoes was down at the ends here, at the where the front hinge is at. I've pushed on it now and got it in there tighter, but you could see daylight through it. Actually, on this here side, you can actually see daylight coming in right now. There's daylight right here, and we wonder if the mosquitoes were coming in there. So what we do now, normal practice for us now, is when we take our clothes off, we always pack our clothing down in this corner and along the header, can we call it, or the footer. We put our clothing there, and that there helps to seal off that there end, can we say. And after doing that there, and being a little bit more cautious or faster getting in here, and then closing up the door, that there minimized the amount of mosquitoes that we've had in here. Okay, a couple of more points I just want to add while I'm up here is that I mentioned earlier that we have the back window open. We did, the very first night we slept in the rooftop tent, we had the whole thing closed. And it did get stuffy in here. And my wife actually had problems breathing in the middle of the night because the air was so stuffy in here, and there was no air circulation. So from there on, we've always had the rear window open. Sometimes when like today, when it's around 26, 27 degrees, we have it completely open and sleep in here. So I do highly recommend have some kind of circulation in here. Our future plan is I'm going to have a USB fan I'm going to have up here with a battery bank, and use that there for air circulation in here and still have the window open so we get better flow through here. Another point I wanted to bring up was the weight of the rooftop tent. When I was searching on the internet, the weight actually varied from site to site. Sometimes they had the same and other sites had different weights, and I found it confusing. What is the actual weight? So I had to go right onto Eezi-Awn's homepage, and I used their information as the gospel. And the weight of the tent is 72 kilos with the ladder. The ladder weighs 7 kilos. And we store the ladder down in the truck. So up on the roof of my truck right now, I only have 65 kilos plus the bedding. And really, there's no more than 2-3 kilos here. As I mentioned earlier, we were having problems with mosquitoes here, and I'm not a big fan of the door system that's on the rooftop tent. So what I had to do, my trick is I bought some mosquito meshing from the local hardware store, and I used a small butter knife, and I just slid it in here on the side, but I use it on that door, of course, and I have it hanging down. So I have this here hanging down. When I open the door, this is there, and it helps for us to slide in and minimize the amount of mosquitoes to come in. This here actually did work as a solution for our problems here. Another thing that like I mentioned earlier was my ladder, and here's the panel that the ladder sits into. Now that there's fine if the truck was lower and it was on a better angle, but because of the height of my truck, it does not sit in there and stay in there properly. And as I showed you earlier, I put the strap on there to hold the ladder to my roll cage. I would love to have seen some kind of a hook just to lock that in, to hold it on. That would have made a big difference in the security of that there ladder on the rooftop tent. Okay, now let's get into closing the rooftop tent. Spring bars, like I said, were very easy to take in and out from the inside. And what I do, I try to keep it nice and neat, and I tuck in the sides right from the beginning, and now I zip her up from the inside. And when I zip it up on the inside, I only go halfway with the outer panel, and then the fly mesh, well, that don't matter, I just close it right up. And the reason why I do that is that when you close the roof panel, it'll actually billow out. So you got to be able to get the air out of inside the tent. So the sides are open and the back is open, and it helps the air flow out. And then we have our bungees here that I mentioned earlier to help assist pull in the side panels. There, and everything in the center here. Now, just get out and close her up. Okay, with both doors and the back partially closed, there's all kinds of air circulation through here when I close it. And don't forget the bungee cord here that helps pull the material in also. I've done it a couple of times. I had to learn. Take the ladder out. Don't try to close the roof with the ladder still here. It doesn't work. There. I try to take my time doing it like this. And as you can see, I'm hanging off the back of my truck because the rooftop tent hangs over by 25 centimeters. And I just tuck her in nice and slowly. Both sides. Checking it, making sure everything's loose. There. And the last side here. Oh, and the latch is here. There. And my thumb, simple. This side and my thumb, done. And she's closed up. Okay, now that we have it all closed up, I'm going to finish this here video with my synopsis of the rooftop tent, the Eezi-Awn Blade. One thing I wanted to hit on was it felt like when it was built, we had a Wednesday worker on this side and we had a Friday worker on this side. And the reason why I say that is for two reasons. One, the handle, nice and solid on this side. This side, the handle is loose. It's not tightened all the way. Also, the gas strut on this here side, we were in heavy rain, and we're in the rain for over a day. And it leaked at the mounts for the gas strut. And the gas strut mount was actually loose. So my plan is I'll remove that there and silicone it up and then close it up and tighten it. But in the meantime, that is where there is an issue with the rain. The other side, perfectly dry and tight. What's my opinion of this rooftop tent? I love it. I think it's great. We get better sleeps in this here rooftop tent. We got so much more room in the truck because the bedding is no longer in there. But there are a couple of things I'm not happy with, or I would like to see changes, or, you know, just there's always a plus and minus with everything. The doorways, when you're going up into it, I don't like the idea that you open up the doorway, it's wide open, and you're just inviting all the mosquitoes coming in with you. I would love to see a better system for that. Eezi-Awn, you guys follow me on Instagram. Just send me a message. I'd love to be a part of your development team on making a new doorway system for this here. You guys are one of the industry leaders. Everybody follows you guys. You don't have to have the same doorway as everybody else. Let's make something better. Another thing, the ladder. When it sits into that molding there, because of my truck, okay, it has the lift kit and it has the 33-inch tires. The ladder is, when it's fully extended, it's only 230 centimeters. It doesn't feel secure for us. And as I showed you guys earlier, I use a strap to hold it onto the truck. I would love to see some form of locking mechanism on there, just to hold it on there so you feel a little bit more secure, especially for my wife, or for the ladies, or for the children, matter of fact. So overall, there's only a couple of minor points. Awesome rooftop tent. I highly recommend it. You'll enjoy it. Thank you.